Celiac disease is an autoimmune disease that damages the villi or small finger-like projections that line the small intestine.
Another name for celiac disease is a gluten-sensitive enteropathy. When broken down, the word enteropathy literally means disease of the small intestine.
In most cases, celiac disease is a hereditary condition that is passed on through the family tree.
Celiac disease is fairly common as it affects 1 in 133 Americans.
People with this disease have severe reactions to gluten. Common foods that they must avoid include things such as wheat, oats, barley, rye, and yeast.
Some common household items also contain gluten, so people with celiac disease have to make sure they read every label very carefully.
Gluten is composed of two different proteins, gliadin and glutenin. We'll mostly focus on gliadin. When gliadin molecules reach the small intestine, receptors on the villi attempt to retrieve them. Instead, the immune system produces antibodies that attach to gliadin, signaling for white blood cells and causing an internal war. White blood cells cause severe inflammation, preventing essential nutrients from water and food from being absorbed.
The picture on the left illustrates a normal small intestinal wall with full, intact villi that are able to absorb nutrients. The picture on the right shows the shortened and dysfunctional villi of someone with celiac disease.
Symptoms include diarrhea, nausea, fatigue, vomiting, irritability, weight loss. There are many other symptoms that occur with celiac disease that vary from person to person.
People who have celiac disease are more susceptible to other autoimmune diseases, including dermatitis herpetiformis, multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, anemia, osteoporosis, and epilepsy. There is no real cure for celiac disease, so the best way to treat it is to follow a strict gluten-free diet and avoid cross-contamination with anything that could contain gluten.
I'm Victoria Basso, and I have celiac disease. They tested my hemoglobin, and my hemoglobin, when the last time they tested it, like when I was like 6 or so, was about 13, and they tested me at a 5. So, kind of gross. But, so like my actual reaction, the interesting thing about celiac disease is it's different for every person. It's very diverse. Some people have different reactions than I do. I have nausea and diarrhea immediately, but if you're talking about from the cellular perspective and the immune perspective, what happens is when my stomach cells, my cilia, they absorb the gluten molecule, and what my immune system does is it sees that it absorbs the cell absorbs the gluten molecule, and it recognizes that as that cell being poisoned. You know, I have a lot of iron deficiencies. I have to take a lot of iron every morning. I also have different deficiencies. So, like 2 years ago, I was on a calcium deficiency, and just random, mostly iron and hemoglobin. I don't get that social interaction. When I go out with friends, I feel bad because they have to be conscientious of some restaurants that I can eat at. There's some restaurants where I can't eat at. And just people have to kind of go out of their way